We out here. We out here. Out here talking about makeup school. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gigi and I'm a professional makeup artist. Today we're going to be discussing everything makeup school. Literally any question related, I've been asked it. So I figured, let me just make a YouTube video. Before we jump into it, I just wanted to give you some background on who I am and kind of a little bit about my journey. Let's jump right into it. I currently live in New Jersey. I'm 21 years old, May baby, so I'm a Gemini. If you care to know that, well, you know now. And I went to makeup designery in New York City and I completed the master program. I've been working as a freelance makeup artist, doing runway shows and doing editorial and fashion work. Lots of beauty work in New York City, Princeton, Philly. I've been traveling as much as possible and trying to network myself, meet a bunch of awesome people, and just create some kick-ass art. Yeah. My dad's an artist and a sculptor, and so I just grew up around art my whole life. I had terrible skin growing up. I was having issues with how I was seeing myself, and so I decided to jump into makeup, give it a try, and see if I could feel better, I guess. I graduated from high school, and afterwards I decided that I wanted to go take a tour of M.U.D. Actually, I have a makeup artist in my family. She does TV and film out in LA, and she had told me there's a school for this, like this can be a career. And at the time I didn't realize that this could be a thing. I thought, oh, makeup, that's just a hobby. You can't make actual money off of that. Totally wrong. So there I was, I decided to go take a tour in New York City and I was blown away, let me tell you. I was so surprised at how organized and professional everything was and just all the details. Like, you're basically getting a behind the scenes of the behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I was super blown away. As soon as the tour ended, I said, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I'm so happy that I went, took the risk, and said, you know what, like, there's nothing to lose, because obviously college ain't for everyone. At the end of the tour, I literally sat there and without a doubt in my mind, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, this is what I want to do. And I decided to live my passion full time and go out there and just try my best. Discovering M.U.D and getting the opportunity to educate myself in my craft has been the biggest blessing in my life. I can't imagine being the makeup artist that I am today without my background and education. So, first question, what is M.U.D? So, makeup designery is a only makeup school in New York City and Burbank. They have 2 campuses. Now, this school is extremely well known and very accredited. Everyone that goes through their programs comes out a working, educated, professional, ready to go makeup artist in any field that they want to go in. Whether that's them being a salon makeup artist, a freelance artist, a TV and film artist, special effects artist, anything. So they have a killer reputation, basically. Some people go to M.U.D and they love it, and some people go to M.U.D and they hate it. But, I mean, to each their own, right? Moving on to our next question. Why did you choose to go to makeup school? Art's always been in my life, and I was just waiting to find the right medium for me. And when I took a tour, I realized this is it. Like, it's interesting, it's always new, there's so much creativity in the industry and field, and there are just so many different jobs. There's just so much to do with it. I decided that not only do I love feeling good about myself, but I love helping others feel good about themselves. I love teaching other people, building that connection. And being a makeup artist isn't something that people quite understand. I went to makeup school, or I'm going to makeup school, and people would say, oh, so you do like hair and nails? And I'm like, no, it's not cosmetology school. And so I would have to explain what I did and what I was learning and what exactly that was setting me up for, because people just didn't know. Luckily now, makeup is a tapped into industry a lot more than it was a few years back. A lot more people know more about makeup. There are more makeup artists coming up. The community and industry is booming right now. So that's why I went to makeup school, because I was like, yeah, I feel it. I'm feeling it, like in my soul and shit. So next question, what program did you complete? There are a few programs that involve certain classes. Fashion program, that's only the first 3 classes. You could do the multimedia program, which is like 4 of their classes, or you could do their master program, which is what I did. And I did all the courses that they were offering. So my first class was Beauty 101. It was the fundamentals of makeup artistry. So it was everything from skin tone matching, highlighting and shadowing, contouring, corrective makeup, color theory, hygiene, literally the basics. At first, we read a lot. We did a lot of tests and quizzes. We did a lot of memorizing and just overall learning like eye shapes, facial shapes, bones, like things that people don't think that you learn in makeup school. It is a school. We received top tier education, and that involves dealing with a bunch of different people's skin types and textures and issues and knowing the right thing to do. That's what Beauty 101 taught me. So Beauty 201. Beauty 201 was my second class. It was my hairstyling class. We learned basic hairstyles and updos and clip-in extensions to time period / era styles of the decade, if you will. Finger waves, Marcel irons, hot rollers. Let's say you want to work on TV and film. You're probably gonna be more successful as a hair and makeup artist. If you can style hair, you're probably gonna get more jobs. It's gonna open up the field a little bit more for you. We definitely were comfortable leaving the class, going on to set, and pulling together a look, and that was the point. Just a whole lot of hair. Moving forward, our Beauty 301 class was our beauty lab class. That was hands down my favorite class. We basically had a photo shoot class, and we were working with real photographers every week, creating a story behind these fashion editorials that we were shooting and building our professional book with, which was huge. The day came and we had our first shoot, and it was just like something sparked inside of me. Just the whole creative process behind pulling together what you guys see every day in a magazine, on a billboard, TV. The fact that I got to learn all of the little steps and tips and tricks behind it was insane. Besides doing all the photo shoots, it was also a business class. We got to learn so much about how to get really started in the industry. We did website building, practice interviews for future jobs, which was so helpful. We also did makeup do's and don'ts as far as introducing yourself, networking, marketing your work, invoices, agencies, prices, and rates. It was really like a solid test run in the industry. But you were still learning because you would have side-by-side help with your professor that would literally come up and, you know, like say, how do you feel about that undertone? Maybe this isn't working with her eye shape. You know, you would get that trained eye help as you were building your trained eye. So I thought that was very valuable. It was just the whole business side of it that really kind of made us all feel well-rounded and more prepared coming out of school. So my second and last class was my Special Makeup Effects 201 Character Makeup Artistry class. That class was extremely fun. We got to learn and create all the cool stuff you see on TV. I'm talking aging techniques, bald caps and prosthetics, fake hair like mustaches and beards, learning how to deal with crepe wool and laying the hair so it looks real, and then zhuzhing it up and giving it life and texture, and just all those character building skills that are necessary, not just for special effects, but for fashion and beauty makeup. It's the little things in creating a whole concept that mean the most. That was a huge class, and my teacher was the absolute best. She was amazing. So definitely recommend that character class. Moving on, and lastly, it was my Special Makeup Effects 301 lab class. It wasn't applying prosthetics, but creating prosthetics. So it was interesting. We were working with fiberglass, running foam and life casting, sculpting with clay, and creating characters in our heads and putting it down on these molds, and then creating those prosthetics, running those for our final projects, using the prosthetics that we had created to apply it on our models and create these crazy creatures, these totally made up, just awesome characters, which was it's pretty crazy thinking that I did all of that, honestly. Like, I can't, like, wow. So those are all of the programs that I had the pleasure of going through. Some background on what I got to learn. I honestly loved every class. Every class I felt taught me something essential to becoming the makeup artist I am today. Overall, like, throughout all my courses, like, it was a 9 out of 10. I loved it. But that's also because I try to make the best of it. Next question, how much did it cost? So right off the bat, school was pretty expensive. It obviously wasn't expensive as like a 4-year college, but it definitely wasn't not expensive either. I had to pay out of pocket for everything, and housing was not included. I ended up living in Brooklyn Heights. I was 1 subway stop away from the financial district, and then I would get off at Wall Street every day, and I would walk about a few blocks around the corner onto Broadway, and that's where my school was. I was very fortunate that I had support, and I was able to live in New York City while I was going to school, because I honestly would have been extremely stressed out thinking about that commute every single day. So I think that that's something that everyone has to consider. If you're commuting and going to school, it's going to be very hard. They help you with some housing options. I ended up liking EHS, Educational Housing for Students, the best in Brooklyn. I felt like that really gave me the full experience of being a New Yorker. As far as the rest of the costs, besides the tuition, anything that I needed for the following class coming up, I would have to buy 2 weeks prior, and I would spend a solid $1,000 to a few grand every month just on my kit, which is great because I left school with the full kit. But obviously you're gonna want other brands or other products for certain things, and that's something that you build along the way. So it is pricey, but every school is. They're very flexible and they're very willing to work with you. So I think that's something that you have to keep in mind. So next question. What was in your school kit? So I am talking everything, like a whole bunch of brushes with the brush belt, mud tweezers, mud eyelash curlers, mud liquid foundation. I got an airbrush, I got a kit, I got a bunch of bald caps for my special effects classes, I got a bunch of hair stuff. So I got literally an entire entire kit. So I was ready to go out of school. Like, I could do any job because I had everything that I needed. That's pretty amazing, honestly. Their blush palette, I literally still use in my kit today. But, you know, other things like their cake liner, I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought it was very flaky, and it didn't really stick quite well. Some products I like better than others, but at the end of the day, it got the job done. And as I grew as an artist throughout the years, I was able to build my kit the way that I wanted to. What was it like living in New York City? Absolutely unreal. I love Brooklyn, but living in Brooklyn Heights was amazing because I was literally one subway stop away from like everything. So it was really awesome. I got to meet a whole bunch of other people that were living in my housing building that were going to like the colleges nearby or other trade schools, or that were going to M.U.D and were in a completely different class than I was. So it really helped me like open up and meet a bunch of people and also go out and truly experience New York for what it was. Go to concerts and go out and just like do all the cool New York stuff that everybody wants to do. It was a great time. Like, if you ever get the opportunity to live in New York, period, do it. I would come home to Central Jersey for the weekend and I'd be like, has it always been this boring? Has it always been this quiet? Like, and I would go back home, and I was back home, aka to New York, and just I was so used to like the commotion, just all the craziness. Like, that was my life. I was used to the high-paced environment, and I loved it because it just helped me become so motivated and just really focus in on what I wanted to do. Okay, so the time has come for our super awesome pros and cons list. This list is really what I believe were the positives and the not so positives about school. So I'm gonna start with the cons so we can finish on a solid, great note. The first con is that it is expensive. It's not cheap at all. Makeup is expensive, and if you're thinking about it, you're not just buying makeup for yourself. You're buying makeup for anyone out there that could have any skin problem, that could need absolutely anything. Like, you are providing that for them. Number two, we were only trained with makeup designery makeup only. When we bought our kits, we were using makeup designery makeup. And that, to me, like, I just felt like if we had more variety, it could have been better. Also, it's understandable that, of course, we're going to train with their makeup. It's their school. Personally, wasn't a big fan. Number three, okay, skin breakouts. Throughout school, I was breaking out so much. Like, it was such a struggle, and I was not happy about it at all. Obviously, after school, my skin did clear up, but that's something that I wish someone would have told me. So your skin's just gonna be kind of whack all the time. Another con would be city life is not for everyone, and traveling, like commuting to school, is hard. I had friends that would come to school every day commuting from like the complete opposite side of Jersey. They would get on a train and then get on a bus and then do this and then do that. Like it's hard. It's a struggle. And if you're not up for it, if you're not willing to sacrifice that and to make big sacrifices along the way, then maybe this isn't for you, which is okay. But that's something to keep in mind. Whether you're living in the city or traveling out, city life gonna get the best of you. And last but not least, my final con is that I went to school Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. Y'all, this was a full-time job. I completed 812 hours in like 7 months. Like, my life was school every day. I had to see the same people every day in the same class for that many months. There were no breaks, there were no days off. You have to think, like, you will not have time for anything else. You will be 100% completely invested in this. It's a boot camp. Okay, so that wraps up my cons. My pros, okay, first of all, you get hands-on experience with different skin types and textures. That's not something you're gonna get from an online makeup school certification. Moving on, our knowledgeable and experienced teachers were the shit. They were super awesome, they were super chill, and they are the people that are creating those sick looks on huge billboards, the people that are doing that crazy slit throat and bullet wound in your favorite movie right now. Like literally the ones that are working on huge productions, that are killing it, that are working with like A-listers. And so the fact that we got to pick their brain and we got to learn from the best is crazy. The next pro would be I got a career counselor. Throughout school and even now, I keep in contact with my career counselor that I was scheduled with in school, and we got to talk about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, good ideas. They would help me with my resumes. They would help me with anything work related. And even now when I need help, I'll send an email to my counselor and she will answer back tomorrow. You're not in it alone. You are getting like experienced help. Next up is job board. When you sign up for school, you get your own login to a M.U.D job board that only M.U.D students and M.U.D alumni can reach into. Weekend photo shoots. Every weekend of every month, we would have a professional photographer come in and he would be ready to shoot whatever we had going on. So I could bring in a model, do her makeup, and on the weekend when I didn't have to go to school, I could still get extra pictures right at school for free. We also had a calendar and we would have lectures, classes, and events, and even job fairs on our calendar. And we would have like huge people coming in talking to us about the industry or business or artistry. I remember going to a few lectures that changed my life, like kick-started me and put me in a drive. Like I was ready to like work. Networking with other makeup artists. Not only are you going into school and you're meeting future artists, you're meeting future artists in the class next door to you, and you're having alumni that have already graduated come in and help with certain projects. Like you are constantly networking yourself with your teachers, with people that are coming in and out of that school. You are given plenty of opportunities to just throw yourself out there. Last but not least, being in makeup school and being a student allowed me to get student discounts from almost every makeup brand there is. It's not a huge discount, but you're getting a discount. You can still build your kit while you're in school for the low. Think about how much money you're saving on products alone. Alright, we have finally arrived to this question. Did you like school and would you recommend it? I loved school and I would totally recommend it. If you feel like this school could even remotely help you, take a tour. Do you think makeup school is worth it / necessary? 100% worth it. And I would honestly have to say necessary. I was extremely overwhelmed with how much information and how much knowledge I had no idea about once I got to school. Personally feel like makeup school is a necessity. But to each their own. If you're a self-taught makeup artist and you feel like you're living your best life, honey, live your best life. And my very last question, oh my god, we're finally here. Did school help you find a job / set you up for a comfortable future? So school gave me all the resources that I could have ever asked for to be successful. School really helped me and pushed me in the right direction. That being said, that definitely doesn't mean that school set me up for a comfortable future. At the end of the day, I came out of school with student loans to pay off, trying to find the right job for me, experiencing different jobs in different fields so I could see what I truly love the most. Now, that's not to say that school was the reason that I went on the job board and I went to jobs and I did weekend photo shoots, and that I, whenever I was exhausted, instead of just taking a nap, I went out and I kept hustling. Perseverance and, growth definitely didn't come from my school. That came from me. And that's what I think people have to understand. Just because you go to makeup school does not mean that you're going to be a successful makeup artist. That depends on you. Period. This industry is constantly growing and changing and is always throwing something new at you. And I hope that if anything, you left this video today with some kind of new knowledge or opinions or questions that you should be asking yourself moving forward. If you guys want to learn more about my story, what I do now, let me know. All my social media is linked down below. Thank you so much for sticking by me. Please like and comment and subscribe, guys. Please hit the bell notification button, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.